Rampage.
Hey everyone, welcome back for some brand new content about that show that's better than it has been in seasons, The Walking Dead. Warning, beyond this point there are spoilers for people who are not up to date on The Walking Dead TV series and the comic books. This video will analyze the brand new sneak peeks from the upcoming episode 7 in a season 9 that so far has given us hope even in the middle of the apocalypse. We'll also recap episode 6 and look for answers to the many mysteries that have come along with this 6-year time jump. The first new sneak peek was pointed out to us by YouTube user Koju1420, and we were really happy to see that Rosita managed to set off a flare that caught the attention of Jesus and Aaron. Before we get into Rosita, we want to talk about a few new pieces of key information we learned during Jesus and Aaron's conversation.
Tara can't cover for you?
She knew I'd been coming this far out without the security detail. As it is, she wants to have me try for dereliction of duty.
First thing is that it sounds like Tara is pretty much in charge of the hilltop, although there's a council there just like in Alexandria.
We are not soft.
It sounds like Tara's taken a page out of Michonne's rulebook and is a real stickler, as she apparently has been giving Jesus a lot of slack. Cut the guy a break, Tara.
She doesn't even know about Maggie.
The next big new piece of info we get is as they're talking about the community fair, which we'll get into later. But something did in fact happen involving Maggie, and she's no longer at the hilltop. On top of that, Michonne doesn't even know about it. We believe if Maggie had died that Michonne would have been told, so we think it's a safe bet to assume Maggie went with Georgie. This also means that the bad thing that was alluded to by Michonne and the other survivors in episode 6 did not happen on the hilltop, as Michonne would have known about it, but we'll get more into that later.
There's a reason for everything.
Once they see the flare, Aaron and Jesus find Rosita pretty quickly, and she tells them she hid Eugene in a barn. They decide to take Rosita to the hilltop and let Eugene sit in the barn overnight, as it's too dangerous to do this mission in the dark. In a promo release last week, we see Eugene telling Aaron and probably Jesus that the herd that attacked them wasn't a normal herd, so it's obvious that Jesus and Aaron find Eugene the next day. The huge thing about this sneak peek is that we find out Rosita is safe. We thought she would be taken hostage by the Whisperers, but we're glad we were wrong about that one. Either way, we don't think Rosita will die, at least until the season finale, and hopefully not even then. The second new sneak peek just released to Den of Geeks shows us Magna's group out in the wild with Michonne, Sadiq, and DJ. Michonne wants to go back home and let the group go the rest of the way with Sadiq and DJ, but with no weapons. Magna argues this point, and the group is divided on what to do, but it looks like they will end up going without weapons to a Maggie-less hilltop. We don't really learn much in this scene, but the chemistry between Magna and Michonne is strong, and we hope that they get more on-screen time together this season. Now we're going to recap episode 6, appropriately titled Who Are You Now, as this episode leaves us with many questions wondering who all of our favorite survivors have become during this long time jump. The episode starts off with no real surprises as we already saw the opening minutes and get some insight into where Carol, Daryl, and Michonne's heads are now. After the show intro, we find out that Judith wasn't wandering alone in the woods for too long as we see she managed to elude 4 grown adults to go help Magna and her group. This kid is the best.
Jude!
Aaron seems to be very close to Judith, and we know Gracie will be in the series, but we haven't heard or seen much from her up to this point. Pointing out Yumiko's injury, Judith forces all of the adults to break Michonne's rules and bring the group back to Alexandria.
If they don't go, I don't go.
Here, we get some insight into the kingdom and find out the place is starting to fall apart. We're really glad Jerry's still alive, though.
Not going anywhere, dude.
Teenage Henry is clearly going through a rebellious phase and kind of acting like a brat, but at least the kid's got heart. We find out that Henry will go to the hilltop to train under the blacksmith Earl, and we also hear about this fair that's being planned for the communities. Sounds innocent enough, right? Wrong. This fair marks an infamous moment in the comics when multiple survivors, including Ezekiel and a pregnant Rosita, are snatched away from the communities and end up with their heads on sticks, marking a boundary into Whisperer territory. This happy-sounding fair is a death trap, and we don't need it. Ezekiel goes on to allude to something bad happening possibly between the communities or to the communities before Carol cuts him off.
Hasn't been the same since.
I know.
Angela Kang really knows how to keep us guessing. Next, we see the other sneak peek we saw of this episode last week, where Magna and her group see Alexandria for the first time and are in awe. The whole community is surprised to see new faces, and it's evident a lot has changed in the 6 years since Rick disappeared. Michonne shows up and is not feeling the new guys at all. She is especially untrusting of Magna, and her instincts will prove to be somewhat justified later. Michonne is clearly running the show, although we find out that Alexandria does in fact have a council and vote on major decisions for the community together.
I decided.
Next, we see Carol and Henry say goodbye to Ezekiel as Henry heads to Hilltop, but Carol lets him know they'll be making a little pit stop. Then we see the council and Father Gabriel asking the new group questions about what they did before and how they survived. Luke actor Dan Fogler does a great job in this scene, although we believe he's not going to last long on the series. Michonne calls out Magna after the group appears to be winning the Alexandrians over. She points out a prison tattoo and finds a knife she snuck past the gates in her belt buckle. Pretty cool knife though. Michonne makes a badass exit and brings up something traumatic that happened to Alexandria, saying she remembers what happened. What was it? It's not the Saviors and it's not the Whisperers. Whatever it is, we have faith Kang will give us answers sooner rather than later, as he has been all season.
After this, it's over.
After that, we see another sneak peek play out, but as we see the rest of the scene, we get confirmation that Gabriel and Rosita are in fact together. Who saw that one coming? #PlayerPriest. Rosita offers to go out and help set up the homing beacon with Eugene, and we'll find out he was a little too hasty sending off his new girlfriend with Eugene to a secret mission. In this scene, we see more of the amazing Judith and hear that Michonne is going a little crazy and talking to Ghost Rick. It's happened to most of the characters at one point or another, although we're wondering how much it really affects her on a daily basis. Next, we see Henry fall for the oldest trick in the book and get somewhat of an answer to the question, what happened to the Saviors?
My hero.
Apparently, the sanctuary has fallen apart and the group has dwindled to a handful of members who really look like they need a bath. Killer Carol keeps it calm during the exchange, and Jed actually spares her since she spared him. Henry almost screws everything up and should listen to Carol better, as we find out later she did have a plan all along. Killer Carol clearly loves barbecue. Here we see Rosita and Eugene on their secret mission, and Eugene is kind of cock-blocking Gabriel here. He's been friend-zoned hard since day one, and it's tough to say if we'll ever get anywhere with Rosita. Then we go back to Alexandria and see Sadiq in action as a doctor, while Luke asks questions. Again, it's clear something bad happened here, but nobody seems to want to talk about it. Eventually, we'll find out Magna and her group are asked to leave, which prompts Magna to stupidly try to approach Michonne's house with a second hidden knife. Although when she sees Michonne inside of her house, she changes her mind. Here we finally see what appears to be Michonne and Rick's little one. Michonne calls him RJ, and this kid is adorable. There's been a theory going around that he's not real, and we hope that's not the case, but as Magna seems to react to RJ here, we think it's safe to say he is real, and Michonne is a single mother of two. Here we see Judith and Negan's relationship play out for a bit. Judith knows what he is, and talks to him in a very familiar way. This relationship is interesting, but still kind of creepy. After that, we see Rosita and Eugene's mission to the water tower, and everything goes horribly wrong, including another horse fail. Are these horses the kids of Rick's horse? They really need to find a horse trainer somewhere out there in the apocalypse. It will save lives. Next, we find out Magna's visit gave Michonne a change of heart. First, she gets dressed, and we see a mysterious X scar on her lower left back. Does this have to do with this mysterious traumatic event? It doesn't look like a surgery scar, but it's hard to tell with medical procedures in the apocalypse. She puts on Rick's shirt to remind her of his mercy and reveals to the new group she's going to escort them to the hilltop and they could possibly stay there. It's not exactly what we expected, but we're glad this group will find a home with some of the survivors. The episode wraps up with Eugene and Rosita hiding in the mud hearing the Whisperers talk. Eugene tried to tell Rosita his true feelings while making a heroic sacrifice, but she friend-zoned him one more time and got them into the mud. This episode was really solid and answered some old questions while asking some intriguing new ones. We believe the communities were betrayed by someone they trusted, and that event created a rift between all three communities that at least Ezekiel is trying to mend.
I want him safe.
Although his unifying community fair might just prove to be his undoing. What do you think? What is this horrible event that has happened? Is Maggie definitely alive with Georgie, or are the execs at AMC waiting to see how her new series does before giving us an answer? The strength of this season has been how fast Angela Kang has answered the mystery she set up for us, completely opposite of Gimple's style, and we love it that way so far. We wanted to end our video by thanking everyone that has taken the time to watch our videos, like and subscribe to them, as we have hit a personal milestone of 5,000 subscribers. Our next goal is 10K, and we just want to thank everyone who takes the time to like and comment on our content. We hope the hard work that we put into our videos keeps you entertained for years to come. Thanks so much for watching our videos, everyone. As always, we're on the lookout for new interviews, footage, and photos to help prove or disprove our theories and to come up with newer and better ones. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow us on Instagram at Binge Rampage, turn on the notifications button for our channel so you can see our next video as soon as it comes out, and don't forget to subscribe.
There's 30.
You don't belong here! Get out! Please!
Relax, relax. We'll leave.